Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday, December 15th, 2024 Righty Ready class. Hope you had a good week. Let's go ahead and get started. Just give me a one in the chat room to let me know that you can hear me okay, and we'll begin. Perfect. And so we'll start off with our quote and do some expansion on that. Then we'll get into a reading with a quiz, talk about some theories for good writing, introduce a new book, and then wrap up with some vocabulary as well. Our quote for today, Andy, can you read the quote over on the left side for us?
Advice from a squirrel. Plan ahead, stay active, spend time in the woods, go out on a limb. It's okay to be a little nuts.
Excellent. So the fun little quote here, but I want to look at the later part of the quote when they start to say, go out on a limb, or it's okay to be a little nuts. What do you think the author of this quote is saying when they say go out on a limb? Raise your hand if you have an idea. What does it mean to go out on a limb? Ethan, any thoughts, any guesses of what that means?
I don't know.
Andy?
Go out on a known path.
Go out on a known path?
Yes, you know the path.
Um, no, not quite, but I think you're close. Alice, any thoughts on what that means, the phrase?
No idea.
Okay, well, this is basically saying to challenge yourself. Do something that you normally wouldn't do to stretch yourself. That's the phrase go out on a limb. And what do they mean it's okay to be a little nuts? Any thoughts on what that means? It's okay to be a little nuts. Ethan, any thoughts there? It's okay to be a little nuts.
I don't know.
Andy?
It's okay to be a little crazy to get a bit of creative.
Yeah, exactly. It's okay to be a little crazy, to think differently than others, to think about something that may not be as popular. Now, both of these phrases, go out on a limb and also to be a little nuts, are something that you see lots of in English. And this is what is called idioms. Idioms are these phrases that if you didn't know what the phrase meant, you really wouldn't have any idea of what they're trying to say. You just have to be familiar with the idiomatic phrase. There are lots of phrases, idioms in the English language, and they're also regional. So the idioms that are used in the United States are not the same idioms that are used in London, are not the same idioms that are used in Ireland. Every country that speaks English has its own idioms. What is kind of interesting about idioms is that sometimes, even between countries that don't speak the same language, they might share the same idioms. Not all the times. Now, why do we have idioms? Well, they're fun, they're creative, they make language interesting. Here is a list of many different idioms. What I would like for you to do, though, is look at this list and find any idioms that you may not be familiar with. Find the idiom. You can do a quick Google search for it, find the meaning of it, and then I want you to use it in a sentence. You'll pick two idioms for this exercise, two that are new to you, and use them in sentences. Once you have your sentences, you can submit them to me privately in the chat room, and then we'll take a look and discuss your idioms. So pick two. I'll go back to the list and leave this one up while you work. Okay, let's take a look at the idioms that are coming in. If you want to submit, just go ahead and start to wrap up. But let's see. Andy, you said in class, the teachers would like us to be all ears and sit tight. Now, what did you mean by sit tight?
Like um sit well.
Okay. So this your first one works really nicely. Your second one is a little off because we usually say sit tight when we're telling people to calm down. Now this might be because they're worried or they're stressed. So you might say sit tight, everything's going to be okay. So let's take your second one. Let's go ahead and we'll just put a period. And I'm going to change the second one. Sit tight because everything is going to be okay. That would be and it's usually just because we need people to wait. We need them to. Here, I figure I might as well jump on the bandwagon. Okay, good. Alice, what did you mean by this? What did you mean by I figure I might jump on the bandwagon? What did you mean by that, Alice? Can you explain that for us?
Just like to
So can you explain what the idiomatic phrase means?
the idiom means like some fashion.
So your sentence words, I just wanted to make sure that that you understood it. So to jump on the bandwagon means to start doing something that everyone else is doing. So something that is popular. So I'm gonna add something to your sentence just to make that more clear here. I figure I might as well jump on the bandwagon since everyone else is doing it. So maybe there's something that, like you think of like a popular trend, popular. I remember when there was the ice bucket challenge where people were donating to charity and they were pouring ice on them, bucket of cold ice water. So a bunch of people jumped on the bag wagon, they donated to charity, and they did this challenge as well. They were doing what was popular. Now, the next one you said this luggage cost an arm a leg. That works. What did you mean by arm and a leg?
Like cost much like cost much money.
A lot of money. Yes. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yep, exactly. Very good. Okay, Ethan, you wrote the teacher, oh, I think you mean to say the teacher's eyeballs. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. The teacher eyeballs the students to see who is the best student. Well, what did you mean by this, Ethan?
I mean the teacher that like sees who the students are doing to like to write about who's the best student.
Okay, so the teacher is really paying attention, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Good. So let's go ahead and put this. I'm going to change your tense though. I'm going to say the teacher is eyeballing because this is stating that this is something that doesn't happen all the time like the present simple. It's something that is happening in the moment. The teacher is eyeballing the students to see who's the best. And then that works very well as well. Good. All right. So idioms, keep on learning idioms. There's so many that are out there, but if you don't know one, just ask someone what they mean by it, and then you'll learn a new idiom. Let's move into talking about squirrels, actually, kind of a unique little creature here. Alice, can you read our first paragraph?
Around that time, the tree dwelling rodents were being
Released?
released in America's urban areas to create pockets of rural peace and calm, says University of Pennsylvania
Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania historian Etienne,
It,
Etienne,
Etienne?
Etienne Benson, who studied our relationship to squirrels over the course of 5 years.
Excellent. Andy, can you read the second?
Mm. First, they were introduced to Philadelphia, then to New Haven, Boston, and New York City. Park visitors were encouraged to feed them, and security guards ensured their safety. By the early 20th century, though, America began to regret the hospitality it had shown squirrels.
Ethan, the third paragraph.
Before long, the squirrels' novelty waned and they started to be seen as
Nuisance.
nuisances by the 1970s. Many parks prohibited feeding the creatures. Squirrels are familiar to almost everyone. More than 200 squirrel species live all over the world, with the notable ex- exhibition of
Exception?
exception of Australia. Like other rodents, squirrels have four front teeth that never stop growing, so they don't wear down from the constant
Gnawing.
noise.
And then Alice, our final paragraph.
Whether they
Well,
dwell high in a tree or in an underground burrow, female squirrels typical
typically,
typical
typically,
typically
mhm.
give birth to two to age offspring. Babies are blind and totally dependent on their mothers for 2 or 3 months. Mothers may have several litters in a year, so most squirrel populations are robust.
Robust. Excellent. So interesting story here about how squirrels came to America. They were not originally an American animal. Now, something to reflect on. You're going to pick one of the questions and answer. We're looking for a minimum of 3 sentences as you give description. Of course, be sure to make sure that it's your own writing and you're not copying directly from the text, but rephrasing it. But your choice of questions is number one, why were squirrels introduced to the United States parks? Or number two, have squirrels always been popular? Why or why not? And then number three is an opinion-based question. Give your opinion of squirrels and why you feel that way. Now, I'll go ahead and copy each three of the questions over to the chat room that you can refer to, and I'll go back to the reading exercise so that you can gather any information that would be helpful for your writing. But go ahead and answer one of the following questions. Once you have your writing complete, you can submit it to me privately in the chat room, and then we will take a look at it and discuss. Three-sentence minimum. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the writing that's coming in. If you want to submit, just start to wrap up, and then we will take a look at it before we move on. Andy, do you want to go ahead and read yours?
I think that squirrels are. Oh, I typed the wrong word there. I think that squirrels are interesting little animals because I think that they're very cute and that their tree climbing skills are very good. So I think they are interesting little animals.
Okay. All right, Andy, let's talk a couple of things. Number one, I think we could develop this a little bit more and go into some detail. I'll talk about how you can do that. Now, you start off with including the question, which is good. Now, whenever you are answering a question, we often use because. However, because is not its own sentence. It is a part of your original statement when you're giving your opinion. There's no commas that are ever used. but it's all part of the same sentence once you've given your opinion. Now, after that, you went on to say, because I think they are cute and that their tree climbing skills are very good. Okay. Now, notice in your sentence, you say they are, and you say their tree climbing skills. So we've got these repetitions of their and they that we really could avoid. We can shorten it and make it more concise. Any idea how I could do that?
I'm not sure.
Okay, let me show you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say they are very cute with very good tree climbing skills. What this does now is avoids that repetition of that root word they, because I just included in what's called a prepositional phrase with very good tree climbing skills. You're talking about the same thing, in this case, the squirrels. So this is something that we can do. Now, if it was talking about something different, if I wasn't talking about squirrels and I was talking about another subject, then I wouldn't be able to do this. But whenever we have the same, let's seek to find a way to get rid of our repetitive words. Now, you already told us that you think they're interesting animals. So this sentence doesn't really help us at all. We should actually get rid of this sentence because it's repetitive. We want to avoid any sort of repetition in our writing. So I'm just going to list here, avoid repeating yourself. So what can we do instead? Well, one great thing to do is ask yourself why. And that will help you expand upon your question. So you said because they're very cute. Well, why are they cute? What makes them cute? You also said that they have very good climbing skills. Well, why do they have good climbing skills? This is your opportunity to expand upon that. So let's get some details. Why do you think they're cute?
Because they look very cute. And
What
furry.
about them makes them look cute?
They are furry.
Okay, what else?
Their eyes are big.
Okay. Okay. All right, so let's maybe take one of these. I think they're very cute. I'm going to put a period here. We'll keep that with good climbing skills. This attractiveness is because of their big eyes and furriness. Now, let's answer another question. Why do they have good climbing skills?
Because they live on trees, so they need to climb and go down trees very often.
Since they live in trees, it is important for them to have great climbing skills to go up and down trees Perfect. Good. So that simple question of just thinking why, asking yourself why, will help you expand your writing, include more details, and help you avoid any sort of repetition throughout. If you do want to do a wrap up at the very end, we oftentimes do some type of concluding sentence that just gives a final reflection. However, the concluding sentence should not be repeating what you said in your first sentence. It can be similar, but we can't use the same words. So your main focus was interesting animals. Squirrels are interesting animals. Can we make some final reflection on that? Well, we could maybe say something like this. with all the different species of squirrels, it is fascinating to learn about them all. You found it interesting. You're still talking about being something interesting about them, but it's not the same words. I'm using different words, and that would be an appropriate concluding sentence. Good. So kind of keep those things in mind, especially today, those why, how we can expand off of just simply asking the question why. All right, let me go ahead and copy over our next writer. Alice, do you want to go ahead and read yours?
I think squirrels are cute because they have a big tail and they also action cute like when they are eating the nuts or climb a tree. Squirrels also look funny when they are staring at you.
Okay, all right, some good things here, Alice. Now, some I might also use that I was just talking with Anthony about. But you started off by saying, I think crows are cute because, great use of because here, they have a big tail. Now, I didn't understand this part. They also action. Was that the word you meant to say?
It's like when they are doing something.
Oh, okay, so they look cute when they are eating. Okay. Is that what you meant to say? I believe that's it. Now, you have a lot of text that you did after big tail. I almost feel that you should make this its own sentence. Otherwise, we risk the sentence becoming a run-on sentence. They also, let's change this verb to look cute when they are eating. Now, we're not talking about specific nuts. I think you're just referring to all nuts in general. So for that reason, we don't need to put the. The is when we want to talk about specific nuts, when they're eating nuts or climbing a tree. Notice how you said eating, which was the correct form, your gerund form. But even here, when you refer to other verbs, they also need to be in that gerund form. Eating nuts or climbing a tree or climbing a tree. Squirrels also have, he said, squirrels also look funny when they are staring at you. What's funny about that? What's funny about that? Can you tell me more there? Can you be more specific?
Because like they have big eyes.
Okay, I think that would be a great detail to add because they have big eyes. Good. So similarly, when you think about trying to create more writing, think about asking yourself that same question, why? When you make a statement, immediately just ask yourself why, and that will help you think of expanding and being more clear with the information that you write, with the details that you give your readers. Our goal is that they don't actually have any questions because we've given them enough information that they understand exactly what we mean. Oh, I think I missed Ethan. Ethan, let me grab yours. And then I'll have you read yours, Ethan. Okay, you want to go ahead and read yours, Ethan?
I think squirrels have always been popular for two reasons. Firstly, female squirrels give birth to 2 to 8 baby squirrels in spring. Secondly, there are over 200 squirrel species in the world. For these reasons, squirrels will always be popular.
Very good. Ethan, this is really well written. First of all, you start off by answering the question and you tell us exactly how many sentences or reasons you're going to give, which is great. You prepare your readers for what they are going to read. You You list them based on firstly and secondly, which is great starters, showing the concept for us to be able to remember which were the two reasons. You then at the very end have a wrap up, which is a concluding sentence, but it's not a repeated concluding sentence. It's a sentence that focuses on the future. Grammatically, this is all correct. Very well done. No corrections. Good job. All right, everyone. We have been talking about tenses. We've looked at the past, present, and future tenses, but now it's time for us to move into the perfect tenses. Now, let's talk for a second about perfect, but first look at these two sentences. One is in past simple, and the other one is in past perfect. The past simple is last week I saw that movie. The present perfect is since last week I have seen that movie. Can anyone tell me the difference between these two sentences? In the meaning of them. Ethan, any thoughts on what might be the difference?
Last week just says that last week you saw it, but the next one means like that week, like starting at that week you have seen that movie.
Okay, so it sounds like what you were saying is that one is talking about one point in time in the past, while the other one is talking about from a past moment up until now. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Very good. Yes. So perfect. When we see perfect in tenses, which we'll see perfect in a variety of different tenses over the next couple of weeks, it's always talking about something from the past over a period of time. In this case, up until now. Something from the past up until now, which is different. As we just said, when it's the past simple, it refers to just one past event. Here's a little guide to help you with understand some of the differences in the frame. If we look at past perfect simple, on the left side, there's an example that says here, I have been walking to school every day for the past 2 years. So what this sentence is talking about is what has occurred from 2 years ago in the past up until now. But if you look farther down at another example, when it says, I walked to school every day when I was a child, that is just referring to one unit of time in the past. That is complete. Now, there's some clues of knowing which one you can use. If you see a specific point in time in a sentence, that has to be past simple. For example, if it says yesterday, 2 years ago, last week, these are signs for past simple. Past present perfect simple uses words like since, are from the start, for, where it's now talking about a period of time. Let's see how you do with some statements. If you can decide whether to use past simple, which is just our ed at the end or our regular verb, or present perfect simple, which is has or have plus the past participle of the verb. I'll write present perfect simple in the chat room how it's formed as a reference guide. But that was your has or have plus the past participle. Let's take a look. The first sentence, it says, ouch, I can't walk. I think I, with the verb just break my foot. Raise your hand if you have an idea of what you think this could be. So our choices are the following. I think I just broke my foot, or I think I have just broken my foot. Ethan, what do you think?
I think I had just broken my foot.
I think I have just broken my foot. Very good. Now, in this sentence, we also have another clue. The word just is something that we use with the present perfect, not the past simple. It's a big mistake that a lot of English speakers make. They say just broke, but that's incorrect. It should be just have broken. We also have the clue of ouch, which lets us know that it recently finished. If something recently finished, we tend to use present perfect simple instead of past simple. Good. Let's try number 2. Andy, take a look at this one. George and Katie with the verb not do the shopping last Saturday. We could say George and Katie didn't do the shopping last Saturday, or George and Katie haven't done the shopping last Saturday.
George and Katie didn't do a shopping last Sunday.
Very good. In this sentence, last Saturday is a specific point in time in the past. The present perfect simple would be inappropriate. Alice, take a look at the next one. Sorry, Mrs. Colon. I, with the verb not finish my homework yet. Once again, your choices here are I didn't finish my homework yet, or I haven't finished my homework yet.
I haven't finished my homework yet.
That is correct. There's a key word here in your sentence that also is a clue for present perfect, which is yet. Yet is also, again, talking about a period of time, something from the past up until now. We don't use past simple with yet, or since, or just. Okay, now this next set, I won't help you as much, give you the option. Let's see how you do. Ethan, take a look at number 4. Helen with the verb not swim for a while, as she with the verb break her arm in the basketball match last month. What do you think, Ethan?
Helen will not swim for a while as she had broke her arm in the basketball match last month.
So we're only going to work with present perfect simple or past simple. So it's either going to be present perfect simple where you're using has or have plus the past participle, or just the regular past tense of the verb. So do you think the first one, let me help you out with this first one. Do you think the first one should be Helen didn't swim for a while, or Helen hasn't swam for a while?
Hasn't
Okay,
swim for a while.
hasn't swam for a while. Now the next one, your option is as she broke her arm or as she has broken her arm.
Has broken her arm.
Now I do like your first one. Helen hasn't swum for a while. A while lets us know that we're talking about from this point in the past up until now. But then we have last month in the second part. Also think about the verb. To break. If you break your arm, do you break it over a period of time, or do you break it and it's done? Do you break it over a period of time, or do you break it and it's done?
Break it and it's done.
Yes. And we also have last we have last month, which is a specific point in time. This one actually should be past simple. What would be the past simple for break?
Broke.
Broke. Good. You want to read the whole sentence now? Can you read the whole sentence now?
Helen hadn't swim for a
Oh,
while.
hasn't swam.
Didn't swim for a while as she broke her arm in a basketball match last month.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna just type it in the chat room that oh, I think I sent that just to Andy, the last email. That should have gone to everyone for the present perfect. I'm going to type in the chat room also that past participle. What gets tricky with present perfect is you have to know the past participles. Hasn't swum. Hasn't swum. Swim, swam, swum. The third column hasn't swum in a while. We have to know that in order to form the present perfect simple. Okay, let's see, whose turn was it? Andy. Number 5, I with the verb live in the same village since I with the verb be born. I love this place.
I have lived in the same village since I was born. I love this place.
That is correct. I have lived from the past up until now in the same village since I was past tense, past simple, born. Very good. Alice, take a look at number 6. David with the verb just come back from work and he is too tired to prepare something to eat.
David has just came back from work and he is too tired to prepare something to eat.
Very close. Now you're right about the tense. It should be present perfect simple. But what is the past participle of come? It's not came. Came is the past tense. Any idea? Well, it's actually come once again.
Is calm?
Yep, come, came, come. We go back to it. So David just has come back from work. So sometimes your past simple tense is the same as your past participle, but not all the time. There's that separate list of past participles. Feel free to do some more extra work with these exercises here. There's some more there. But let's actually try creating our own sentence. See if you can create a sentence for me in the past simple, and then create a sentence using the present perfect simple. Remember the present perfect simple, as you see in the chat room, is has or have plus the past participle of the verb. Once you have your sentence, you can submit it. Your 2 sentences you can submit, and then we'll take a look and discuss. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the sentences coming in. If you want to submit, just go ahead and start to wrap up. Alice, you said, I played tennis yesterday with John. Good. Yep, yours works for present simple. I think you just sent another one in. Let me see if I can get that one copied. I have played tennis. Let's see here. Okay, you wrote, I have played tennis with John every week since last year. Very good. Now we just need to separate every week, those 2 separate words, but the sentence work for present perfect simple. Very good. Okay, let me copy over Ethan. Ethan, you wrote, last week I went to the park. Very good, present simple. Since I came here, I have been living here for 4 years. Good. Now I'm going to give you a suggestion for your first half. Now, it's not wrong, but notice once again, we have this repetition of came or I in both parts of it. There's a much better way we can do that, and it's called using an adjective clause. What we do is we get rid of the first I and we put it in a gerund form. Since coming here, I have been living here for 4 years. So that's a little, we'll talk about adjective clauses in the future, but that's one way, once again, we can avoid some repetition in our writing. The requirements are that you have to be talking about the same person or the same thing in both parts of your phrase. But that's one thing you can use here to avoid that repetition. Okay, let me copy over Andy. Andy, you wrote, I have been living here since I was born. Very good. I lived here for 9 years. Now, in your second sentence, are you saying that you no longer live there? So you're saying that you don't live here anymore, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's what it would have to mean. It would have to mean we use the past simple to express something that it's finished. It's not continuing anymore. So you might actually end up saying this. You might actually say, I lived there for 9 years. The difference between here and there is, of course, just distance from it, but the phrasing sounds better if you say there. I lived there for 9 years because now we can understand that, okay, you're not there anymore. Now, let's say that you're at the specific location. Let's say you're at the house and maybe you're just visiting and you're like, oh, yeah, I lived here for 3 years. Then it would make sense. But I'll leave the here there, but I think there might be more of a true representation of what you were trying to say. Very good. All right, now everyone, we have a new book for this week. A very famous book. In fact, I remember reading this book when I was around your age. The Indian in the Cupboard, a great book by Lynn Banks. Here's a little bit about the author that you can read as well. And then the summary of the book. Let's go ahead and take a moment just to read the summary. And I'm curious to know what type of genre, what type of book do you think this is? Alice, can you read the first paragraph?
On his birthday, Omri Hall Cardinal is given several simple gifts, including an old wooden cupboard and a small plastic figurine of a Native America man. When he locks the toy inside the cabinet, it magically comes to life as a tiny cage,
KG?
cagey warrior named Little Bear Litfoot.
Lightfoot. And Andy, the second paragraph?
The boy then places other toys in the cupboard and they too come to life, even engaging in entertaining battles. But after Little Bear is wounded, Omori begins to understand that his animated toys are not mere playthings.
Excellent. So, Ethan, what type of book do you think this is? What type of genre would you say?
Adventure or mystery?
Yeah, okay, adventure, definitely adventure. Maybe there's a little mystery in there. We also might call it a little bit of fantasy too, with magic and things coming to life. Yeah, very good. Great book there. Now, we also had some vocabulary words that you want to look at. Waned, nuisances, noning, litters, and robust. Okay, you'll need those vocabulary words to complete the after class writing assignments. To help you with that, take just a quick moment and pick out one of the vocabulary words and make a quick sentence with it. Once you have your sentence, you can submit it to me, and then we'll take a look and discuss. Okay, we'll take a look real quick at the writing coming in. Ethan, you wrote the Army soldiers are all robust. And what did you mean by that, robust?
They were all strong and healthy.
Okay, perfect. Now I think it would be good if we just add that in there as well. So they were all strong, robust, and healthy. Great. That just adds to the deeper meaning of the understanding. And then Ethan, Andy, you wrote this is a robust squirrel. Once again, what did you mean?
A strong, healthy one.
Okay. How about we say this is a robust and healthy squirrel? That works nicely. And then Alice, you wrote, let's see, let's get yours here. This is a well-known engineer, this robust wall. And what did you mean by robust? What was your meaning? Alice, what did you mean by robust?
Like it's really hard to push.
Okay. You mean to break? It's very
Yes.
strong? Okay. So let's add that. So it's a very robust, strong, and robust wall. And what it implies here too is also that maybe the wall is very thick. That would actually be another I like that word even better. A thick and robust wall. So very, very strong. Good. So sometimes adding those little adjectives in there will also help clarify which type of meaning you mean with the phrases. Now, for your after class writing assignments, think about the use of the past simple versus the present perfect simple. Your writing assignment is what type of activities or games would you plan for a school field trip to a park? Write no more than 400 words, and you can submit that to the form within the next 7 days for edits. On the page afterwards, you'll find the questions for the words of the day and then the answer key where you can check your answer. I'll go ahead and copy over today's link. If you'd like to get started with any of the exercises, just go ahead and click on the link and request access. Here that is in the chat room for you. But any questions as we wrap up for today? All right, then I will see you all next Sunday. Have a great week. Bye now.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
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 Bye.